welcome to Fluid Mechanics Lab. Today we are conducting an experiment on determination of a viscosity of a liquid and its variations with the temperature. The aims and objective of the experiments are to study the viscosity, determine the viscosity of a given oil and its variations with the temperature. Wherein first of all we will see the theory, principles of a working of a viscometer and a viscometry, and then we will see explanations of the experimental procedures. So, as far as the theory is considered, viscosity, first of all you must know what do you mean by viscosity. In our theory lectures you might have already understood what do you mean by a fluid or a fluid mechanics. So, as far as the fluid mechanics and a fluid is considered, you know that a fluid having a different properties. So, one of the very important property, that is a viscosity, that we would like to understand. So, today we will see what do you mean by a viscosity. So, a viscous term comes from English word, that is viscous, so which is mean by a sticky, adhesive or a tenacious, whereas a viscosity is defined as it is the property of a fluid by virtue of which it offers a resistance to the flow of layers between the two layers, whatever the resistance offered by different layers. It is primarily due to the cohesive forces between the molecules and a molecular momentum exchange that is taking place. So, this is a very important property of a fluid which is to be understood by every student. So, viscosity is the property by virtue of which it offers a resistance to the flow of a fluid between the different layers. So, different layers offers a resistance to the flow of a fluid. So, it is primarily due to the cohesive forces between the molecules and a molecular momentum exchange that is taking place, and the effects are to offer a resistive forces. Which are given by a Newton's law of a viscosity. So, Newton's law of a viscosity explains you the viscosity concept. So, wherein what Newton's law of a viscosity states? It states that the shear stress tau is directly proportional to du by dy, wherein du by dy is nothing but the rate of a shear strain. It is also known as a rate of angular deformation or a velocity gradient. So, once you put a proportionality constant, what you got is the tau is equal to mu into du by dy. What do you find? Tau is equal to mu into du by dy. So, this is the Newton's law of a viscosity which serves the purpose to define the viscosity. So, ultimately you get a viscosity mu is equal to tau divided by du by dy. Okay, so, mathematically viscosity can be defined as the shear stress required to get a unit rate of angular deformation. Understood? So, what is to say? In a mathematical form, viscosity is the shear stress required to get a unit rate of angular deformation. So, after carrying out the different calculations of the viscosity with respect to the shear stress, that is the force, velocity and the distance, what you find? The SI unit of a viscosity is Newton second per meter square or a Pascal second or kg per meter second. So, what you will find, this viscosity mu is also called a coefficient of a dynamic viscosity. It is also called a coefficient of dynamic viscosity. As you know, it is the proportionality constant, but it is also called as simply a dynamic viscosity, absolute viscosity or simply a viscosity. So, it is SI unit Pascal per second, that you must remember. Then in many flow problems, what you find? You find there is a ratio. You find a ratio, that is mu by rho is commonly arrived in a different calculation. So, a mu by rho ratio is known as a kinematic viscosity. It is known as a kinematic viscosity. So, it is called a kinematic because it only contains the length and time scale, whereas this mu, that is a dynamic viscosity, it contains a force. So, that is why it is called a dynamic viscosity, whereas a kinematic viscosity nu, it only contains the length and the time scales, that is why it is called a kinematic viscosity. So, we are interested to determine this kinematic viscosity for different oils. We are interested to carry out the kinematic viscosity nu for a different oil. So, now we will see what are the different methods on which the viscosity are measured. So, the science is called a viscometry of finding the different viscosity of a different fluids, different oil, different chemicals. So, basically there are three principles on which the viscosity is measured. Number one is by Newton's law of viscosity, that what we have studied, and then second one is based on the Hagen-Poiseuille's equation, and third one by a Stokes law, Further, there is a fourth method is there, wherein viscosity is compared with a calibrated fluid. But basically these are the three principles, and out of which today what we will see only a Hagen-Poiseuille's equation, a method used by a Hagen-Poiseuille's equation. So, there are different viscometers. Number one, which is called a coaxial cylinder viscometer, in which a Newton's law of viscosity principle is used, whereas in the second method, that is Hagen-Poiseuille's equation, wherein capillary tube viscometers are there. So, under capillary tube viscometers, again further they have been modified into a better versions like a Seybold viscometer or a Redwood viscometer. They are further modified to a Seybold viscometer and a Redwood viscometer, and the third method, that is called a Stokes law method, which is called a falling spear viscometer. So, three viscometers that you must understand. Number one, coaxial cylinder viscometer, capillary tube viscometer, and a falling spear viscometer. So, we are today interested in the capillary tube viscometer, that is by using Hagen-Poiseuille's equation. So, today we will see a Redwood viscometer which is falling under the capillary tube viscometer, which is a modified version of a Seybold viscometer and a capillary tube viscometer. So, we will see now how a Redwood viscometer works to determine a viscosity of a given oil. So, basically this Redwood viscometer uses the principle of Hagen-Poiseuille's equation, and a laminar flow is maintained. So, a laminar flow is observed in many devices, which is very important, and whenever there is a laminar flow, viscosity term is very important. So, a laminar flow is also called a viscous flow, because the laminar flow is, in the laminar flow viscosity is more predominant. In a laminar flow, the viscosity is more predominant. So, in Hagen-Poiseuille's equation, a deliberate laminar flow has been carried out. So, this laminar flow is carried out either by the movement of a surface or by creating a pressure difference. So, wherein in this matter what we are creating is the pressure difference. So, I will explain you now what do you mean by a Redwood viscometer. So, in a Redwood viscometer, we will find it consists of a vertical cylinder. It consists of a vertical cylinder, also known as oil cup, in which the oil of which the viscosity is to be measured is kept or filled. So, wherein you will find this yellow lines represents the oil, and this is the vertical cylinder in which the viscosity is to be measured. So, its length. So, as far as the Redwood viscometer is considered, the length are constant. So, in this setup they are a particular definite configuration is there. So, what you will find, its length is about 47.625 millimeter, whereas its diameter, the diameter of this vertical cylinder is 47.625 mm, whereas the length of this vertical cylinder is 80.90 mm. Then it carries orifice at the bottom, and it is open. It is open at the top, whereas at the bottom it is although concave, but it has an orifice for the flow of a fluid. Then the second part it carries is the water bath. So, you will find surrounding this vertical cylinder there is a water bath. So, which is used along with a electrical heater, so that you can see the variation of the temperature for different fluids. So, you can raise the temperature by this electrical heater, and you have an arrangement of stirrer along with this water bath to maintain the temperature between the oil and the water. So, a very important precaution that is to be taken is you have to properly check the temperatures. You have to find the temperatures of the water and the temperature of the oil to be maintained at a steady state by a continuous stirring operations. Then you have an arrangement of thermometers to measure the temperature of the oil and the temperature of the water bath. Then you have a very important arrangement of a ball valve. So, wherein whatever the orifice is there, which is of having 1.7 mm diameter and a length of 12 mm at the bottom. So which is being closed by this ball wall, which is connected to a stiff wire, to this ball wall. So this ball wall is exactly kept on the orifice to close. So before starting the experiment, you have to close this ball wall and you have to fill the oil up to the index mark. So we will see later on in actual experimental setup what are these different configurations again. So you will find that you have to first adjust the leveling screw properly. It is a very important precautions, and as far as the precautions are considered, before starting the experiment you must clean this vertical cylinder by alcohol or by a spirit. Then so that any particles which are, or either this orifice is blocked by a different miscellaneous particles, so it should be removed by a spirit or alcohol. So this is a very important precaution that you must take. Then a leveling of a screw is very important, so that it is always vertical, because we have to maintain a flow laminar. So in a Redwood viscometer, a laminar flow is maintained through this restricted orifice. Then as far as we have seen now, a cylinder, then the water bath, then the orifice, a leveling screw, then a very important part is the volumetric flask. So in this method, a time to measure a fixed definite quantity of a fluid is taken. In this method, the measurements are very simple. Only a time required to measure a definite quantity of a oil, that is a 50 cc of oil is measured, and that is sufficient to determine the viscosity of oil. So that comes from the equation established by the Redwood. Okay. So there is a different theory. So in a theory classes you will be able to understand why this equation, how this equation has been established. So wherein by Redwood viscometer you get nu is equal to 0.00260 minus 1.175 by T. So wherein this is important. So viscosity is directly proportional to the time taken for 50 cc of oil to be measured from this measuring flask, and this latter part is 1.175 by T minus, this is the correction factor, because to maintain the laminar flow. So whatever the errors that are coming, to maintain the laminar flow, that is being taken care by this. So wherein this time T is a time for collecting oil for 50 ml in jar. So yes, as far as the procedure is considered, before starting the experiment you have to close the orifice meter by placing this ball wall, then fill the oil till the mark, index mark, that is exactly the quantity of oil to be in the vertical cylinder. Then you have to start the heater, and then after starting the heater, stir the water bath continuously till the oil temperature and the water bath temperature comes to the steady state. So let us say you would like to take a viscosity of an oil at 80 degrees Celsius. So at 80 degrees Celsius you will maintain the oil and the water bath. Slowly, gently you will heat the oil along with the water. Then once the water has reached a steady state temperature of 80 degrees Celsius, now the next condition is you have to remove this ball wall. You have to remove this ball wall gently again, so that the oil will start flowing through this orifice, and the time taken for measurement of this 50 cc of oil is recorded. So as far as the observation table is concerned, you will find that you have serial number, second column temperature in degrees Celsius, third column time taken for collecting the 50 ml of oil, and finally the kinematic viscosity nu in Stokes, that is being determined by this equation, which is the Redwood viscometer equation. So whatever the different temperature, as we have seen now, for 80 degrees Celsius we are taking a reading. So whatever the time taken for 80 degrees Celsius you will take, then later on you can go on taking for 90 degrees Celsius. So in this way you will find a different readings, you will determine a different kinematic viscosities by using this equation, and finally you will be able to plot a graph of kinematic viscosity versus temperature. So you will find a graph like this for a liquid. So wherein as far as the variation of a viscosity is considered, you will find that a variation of a viscosity for a fluid is having a different nature as far as the liquids are considered, as far as the gases are considered. As far as the liquid is considered, the viscosity variations is like that. As the temperature increases, the viscosity of oil decreases. Whereas as far as the gases are considered, you will find exactly the opposite nature. As the temperature increases, you will find for gases the viscosity increases. Now, you must understand the reason why this happens. So, as far as the liquid are considered, you will find that as the temperature increases, the viscosity in case of a liquid is primarily due to the cohesive forces. So, as the temperature increases, you will find that these cohesive forces go on diminishing, and that is why the viscosity goes on decreasing. Whereas, as far as the gases are concerned, you will find the viscosity in a gases is primarily due to the momentum exchange that is taking place between the different molecules, and you will find that as the temperature increases, what will happen? These molecules will go further away from each other. So, there will be more kinetic energy, they are now moving at a very random pace, they are exchanging now a molecular momentum between them. So, the resistance offered by these gaseous molecules is very high. So, you will find for gases as the temperature increases, the viscosity increases. So, this is what the variations you will be able to plot in the graph. So, as far as the conclusion and the results that you will understand from this experiment, number one is the result, that the viscosity that you have determined, and number two, this variation of a viscosity. So, this is the concluding remark, that as the viscosity of oil decreases as the temperature increases. So, we have seen in the theory in a two-dimensional figure the Redwood viscometer. So, now we will be able to understand the viscometer, how actually it is. So, this is the viscometer, Redwood viscometer, wherein we would like to measure viscosity of a given oil. So, the oil used is a Max 2T oil. So, basically it is a two-stroke engine oil for which we are determining the viscosity. So, you can see there is an index mark over here. So, you have to fill the oil in this oil cup or vertical cylinder up to the index mark. So, this is very important, and this is a very important precaution that is to be taken while carrying out the experiment. So, as explained in the theory, we have seen that in a 2D diagram, what is a Redwood viscometer. So, herein you will find that in this actual experimental setup, you will find that this is a vertical cylinder wherein you have to, or a vertical cylinder or a oil cup or oil bath, wherein you have to take a oil of which the viscosity is to be measured. So, which is to be filled up to the index mark that we have seen, and then this is the water bath surrounding, where you can see along with a stirrer arrangement. So, this is the stirrer arrangements. So, there is a heater connections, you can see. So, a heater is now put in on positions. So, now you have to continuously stir the water till the oil temperature and the water temperatures got a steady state. So, you have to continuously measure the water temperature like this. And then you have to measure the oil temperature also in this way. So, you will find there is a water bath arrangements to see the variation of a viscosity along with the temperature. Then there is a leveling screw over here. So, the precaution that is to be taken is that you have to first level the Redwood viscometer by this leveling screw and a spirit level, so that the cylinder will be a perfectly vertical. Then you will find there is arrangements for the drain from the water bath. So, whatever the water that you can remove from this drain wall, and there is an arrangement of a heater wherein you can change the heating by controlling this knob. So, now we have put it into a higher position because we would like to raise the temperature quickly. So, we will take a temperature at 70 degrees Celsius. So, continuously you have to stir. So, as you have seen, very important part is the vertical cylinder, and it has the orifice at the bottom. It has the orifice at the bottom. So, when we will remove this ball wall, you will be able to see the ball wall also, and the oil which is coming from the bottom in this measuring flask. So this is the measuring flask of a 50 cc. So we have to collect the oil up to 50 cc in this measuring flask once you remove the ball valve. So before taking the reading, you have to make a steady state between the water and the oil. So you have to check that there is equilibrium or a steady state reached between the water bath and the oil. So you have to continuously check the water temperature and the oil temperature. So once the desired temperature is reached, now we can remove the ball valve. You will be able to see the ball valve also. So now we will see, we have to start the timer first before taking the reading. So you will start the timer once you remove the ball valve. Once you remove the ball valve, you have to start the timer. You will simultaneously see that the oil will start flowing from the orifice meter at the bottom in the measuring flask, and you will be able to see a ball valve. So now I have removed the ball valve and I have started the timer. So you will be able to see now at the bottom how fast the oil is moving now at 80 degrees Celsius. So we have now taken a temperature of about 80 degrees Celsius. So there is a continuous movement or a flow, a laminar flow is taking place through the orifice meter now. So you have to measure the time till it reaches the 50 cc mark. So now it has reached to a 40. So now you have to be attentive. So now stop at 50 cc. So the time taken is now 50 seconds. So 50.3 seconds. So again you have to put the ball valve now. So you have seen a ball valve. A metallic ball is placed at the bottom of this stirred wire or a stirred rod, a metallic rod. So this is how the procedure of a redwood viscometer. So the same now procedure you have to follow to carry out at a different temperature. So you can take readings at a different temperatures like 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, and once you have taken the readings, you will be able to do the calculations